Hi there, Paul Thomson here from Spitfire Audio. I'm very excited today to show you my hamper. Now, Christian and I have both put together exclusive hampers. They're only available during the winter sale, and you can save 50% on the products contained within the hamper. The theme of my hamper is air. Let's get some air moving. So let's dive straight in. It's unmistakable. It's the sound of the fantastic group of singers that Eric Whitacre, incredible composer, has put together. The Eric Whitacre Singers, the Eric Whitacre Choir. Now, there's all kinds of absolute riches in here. I'm just using the kind of general tutti patch at the moment, which is the thing that I get up first when I'm sketching, but there's all kinds of beautiful stuff. It really is an absolutely exquisite sound. Now, I mean, you do have the kind of usual things that you might find in a choir library, such as, there's super powerful stuff like that. But you also have these lovely swells. And as you can hear, everything is dynamic, fantastic amount of control over that. You've got these lovely things like, for example, these pitch clashes. So you've got a lot of movement in the library, a lot of episodic stuff, but we also have these incredible sections. And let me just load up the sopranos. And you can see it's an embarrassment of riches as I'm scrolling through, trying to get down to the next section. Okay, so here we go. So with the sopranos, there are a variety, as with all of the sections, there are a variety of different types of performance. And here is our legato R. I mean, it's just beautiful. Every time you load a patch, you're confronted with some absolutely staggeringly beautiful stuff. I mean, if we go into the standard sounds, but also some really beautifully performed and esoteric things that Eric came up with. Now we've also got this incredible Evo grid. As you can see, you can randomize different things. I'm randomizing the clashes here. I've got the tutti section up. It's very, very inspirational. You can go into the different sections as well. I could just use the sopranos. Let's go for the episodics and have a quick listen to that. And I haven't even talked about the mic selection yet, where you have these incredible options here where there's all kinds of different mixes and mics. But obviously you can put in the close and mid mics to get a really intimate sound. Or of course, dial in your kind of preferred sound with, all the bells and whistles going. and you can really shape the sound and create exactly the kind of sound that you want. Now, all of which having been said, this is the most primal form of getting air to move. It's the voice, the human voice. And Eric is a master at getting such a beautiful sound out of the human voice. But it's the first component here. Now, this is the sound that maybe is most coupled in our memory with the sound of the choir singing. It's the organ, and this is a very special organ. This symphonic organ here is the organ in the chapel at Rugby School. Now, what's unusual about this is it is a medium-sized building. It's probably the size of, a medium-sized church, but it has a cathedral-sized organ in it. And the consequence of that is that you end up with this almost overpowering fight or flight intensity at huge volumes, but this great intimacy at the quiet volumes. And let me get the mic mixer up so you can see all of these fantastic different sounds. We've got ribbons here. We've got these lovely valve mics as well. We've also even got the sound recorded inside the organ box, which you can use for some great effects. But have a quick listen to a few of these fabulous sounds. It's just fabulous. There are all kinds of great stuff in here. There's the usual kind of diapason sound that you associate with the organ. But we go through all of these different curated stop mixtures. Here's an example of the really archetypal organ sound. The diapason's the most kind of fluty, solid sound. You've got the fantastic sound of the swell keyboard with control over the shutters that open and close in front of that organ box. You've got the reeds, we call them in organ land, weirdly, because they're not reeds in the orchestral sense. They're actually brass instruments. The sound of the full organ. And then going through to the really kind of epic stuff. This is all of the reeds or the brass instruments. And of course, the all stops out, which you have to record if you're going to play a cathedral organ. Which is just ridiculously good fun. Having been incredibly fortunate to sit on an actual cathedral organ and be able to practice it in the evening when the cathedral was empty and locked up, I can tell you that the sheer power of the thing is the thing that is the kind of overwhelming sensation. And this really gives you that feeling. And if you've got a surround system, you can direct the microphones out of the surround system to really get that feeling of being in the building. But the sound, it's the sound that you hear at the opening of the Sweeney Todd film. It's that sound of massive organ, and it just captures it so incredibly beautifully. So that's the organ. It's the second element of my hamper, because it couples, in my mind, beautifully with the voice. Now I can show you just very quickly what happens if we mix these two things together. And let's just go for an ooh sound. So I'm coupling that with the great diapasons, and just check out this beautiful sound. Just blend together so beautifully. And of course you can, if you really want to go full tilt, we can couple up our kind of shouty sound with the full organ. Really fabulous stuff. But with the symphonic organ, we have actually gone beyond organ and created an enormous section of warps as well. So you also get these fantastic synth textures. As you can see, there's a huge selection of different possibilities in here. Really fabulous and crazy stuff in here. Lots of inspiration. Now, what could go with these fantastic air moving devices so far? Well, maybe the thing that inspired the very first organ, and that is the flute, the thing that you put your lips to and you blow into. And these are so beautifully expressive. Andy Findon is just a crazy good player of all of these different instruments. And I'm going to show you one of my favorite libraries that we've made, which is the Andy Findon kit bag. Now, the reason I love this so much is because it's the closest thing to the human voice that we have in the kind of wind area. I'll show you exactly what I mean. So there are 5 really, really beautiful instruments. I am reliably informed that one of the most successful and famous legendary film directors in the world, this is his favourite sound. This exact sound. This one. The wonderful sound of the contrabass flute there. We have this great Fujara. If you've never played a Fujara, like an overtone flute, great fun. I've got one made out of plastic pipes. The ocarina, made famous by a certain video game. And of course, the shakuhachi. Now, the one thing I haven't even gone into yet is all of the different articulations you get as well. So beyond the performance legato patch, you've got these amazing different types of long notes. You've got long artisans as well. which has a huge number of different performances that you can just feather into your sound, feather into your performance to just get that real kind of beautiful artistry into it. There's, of course, different types of short note and different types of little kind of touches, gliss notes and things like that just give you that kind of extra idiomatic feeling of life and performance. So these three ways of getting some air moving, they're all really interesting things. You can either use them as a featured sound. You can just sit them right on top of the orchestra and just loud and proud, listen to the contrabass flute or the fujara or the choir or whatever, and just have it as the main featured part of your cue. Or you can use them as substitutions, and this is what I really love, is just, you can make something sound intriguingly different and more characterful in some ways by putting an unexpected substitution in there. So you might use the choir instead of the brass, doing that kind of chorale part, where you would usually have the soft trombones and the horns playing, something just chordal in the background. Actually use the choir really softly there. That's a really interesting one. Or substitute the woodwinds with one of these more unusual woodwinds that you wouldn't find necessarily in a traditional symphonic piece. The choir and the woodwinds, of course, can be perfectly paired with the organ, but the organ can substitute for all kinds of different sections in the orchestra because it is, in a way, an orchestra of its own. It has the brass sounds, it has the woodwind sounds, it even has the string sounds. You've even got those lovely, gentle, soft, stringy sounds in the organ. So a really wide collection of different textures here that you can use in your own work to bring character and interest to the listener. I hope that was interesting. Thank you very much for watching. Happy holidays, and look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye-bye.